Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of meal prep, and with this recipe we're making steamed egg bites. So these are like the sous vide egg bites that you would get at Starbucks. So you can use any toppings you want. I'm going to be using some fresh jalapenos, some chives, and some frozen chopped spinach that I have just strained really well of all the water. And these are really simple to make. You can do them in the instant pot or Ninja Foodi. You can also do them in the sous vide if you actually have a sous vide. I do, but I really like the ease of using the Ninja Foodi just on the steam function. I have molds for it. I don't have to worry about getting out jars and all that stuff. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and use that. And so right now I've de-seeded my jalapeno, and I am going to cut it into strips and into a nice fine little dice, just so that you get a little bit of crunch and a little bit of heat and that jalapeno flavor throughout your egg bite. You don't want a big hunk of it. Like some people will put a slice, but I don't personally prefer that. And when you make these, like I said, you can use any toppings. So you can use bacon, sausage, ham, cheese, mushrooms, bell peppers. I mean, the sky is the absolute limit. I really want to make some that are made with smoked salmon and chev, which is a goat cheese. And so I may be trying that soon. We'll see. I won't need to make any for a while since I'll have these in the freezer for now, but I think that would be really good, and salmon is so good for you. So I'm just going to continue chopping up my toppings, and then we will get back to our next step. So the beauty of these is that they freeze so well. So I make them in advance, and I put them out on a baking sheet like I do with everything, stick them in the freezer overnight, and then just take them out and either steam them or air fry them to heat them up. And they're just super delicious. So I am adding 1 cup of cottage cheese, small curd cottage cheese. This is whole fat, full fat. And you can use Greek yogurt here. You could use almond milk. You could use almond yogurt. It's really just any kind of liquid that you want. And then I'm also adding in 9 large eggs. And I found that this is just the perfect ratio of eggs and cottage cheese, and also the perfect amount to be able to fill my molds without having too much left over or not having enough. So this is what I have found really works really well for me. So like I was saying, these really they reheat super well. You can also just stick them in the microwave. If you do that, I recommend that you put them in a damp paper towel. And it's just a simple grab and go. It's easy, healthy, and way cheaper than Starbucks. And personally, I think Starbucks, their sous vide bites are too rich for me. And that's because they add the cheese into the egg mixture, which you are more than welcome to do. That's what a lot of the recipes call for. So you would just add a cup of whatever cheese you like, cheddar, Monterey Jack, Parmesan, mozzarella, it's your choice. But I have found that that just makes it extremely rich, and I can only eat about one of them. So I'd rather have the cheese as a topping or as something that I add later. So I'm going to oil these. Everybody says that you don't have to, but I don't know if it's just mine, if I got a bad brand, but for some reason my egg bites do tend to stick. And so I found if I just put a light coating of olive oil in the bottom, they'll come out much more easily. So you don't want too much, you don't want it to be pooled in the bottom. You'll see I'm going to dump some of this out, but just a light coating in the bottom will help keep the toppings and the egg from sticking. So now just add in your toppings, whatever you're using. This is where you could add cheese or other toppings, your meats. I put them in the bottom so that when you add the egg mixture, the toppings will float up, and so they'll be more evenly distributed than if you were to try to add them at the top. Some people do blend them into their mixture, but I have just found I don't get that even distribution, so I'll end up with some egg bites that have lots of toppings or just lots of jalapeno, and then others that have almost nothing. So this gives me a lot more control, and they turn out how I like. So I will be able to make 2 molds worth, and so I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling these. And if you only want to make a half recipe, you can do that, and if you want to make obviously double, you can do that for sure. You can only cook 2 at a time. You can't really fit more than that in your foodie at once, but you can easily fit the 2. So we're just going to blend this, and we don't want to overwork it. Just give it a quick little blend, a pulse. If you are putting cheese in this mixture, you'll need to blend it a little bit longer. But at that stage, you would add in your seasonings, so your salt, pepper, hot sauce, whatever you want. And you do not want to fill your molds to the top. These are a little bit shy, and I go back and I top them off later, but you want to fill them about 3/4 of the way up because they will puff as they steam, and so you don't want them to get stuck to the foil that you're going to cover it with. So just 3/4 of the way up will be perfect, and I usually end up with just the right amount of mixture for that. You just want to really cover this very tightly with your foil. You don't want any water to get in because then you'll end up with watery egg bites. And if you do end up with some mixture left over, I usually just scramble it for breakfast the next day. My mama helping me find the ones that need a little bit more. So I'm using my rack in a low position, and so this will just barely be able to close over the edges of your molds. And you want to make sure that you're not pushing the top mold down into the bottom one. We're going to add 2 cups of cold water into the bottom of the Foodi or Instant Pot. And add in our egg bites. And we'll be steaming this. We're going to steam this for 10 minutes. You can do 12 minutes if you're using a lot of waterlogged toppings, so like things like mushrooms and bell peppers and spinach. If you're using a lot of that, then you may want to cook them longer so that they'll set. And when you steam in the Foodi, remember your valve is always set to vent. So you can check on them at any time. No big deal. There's no release time. Just going to take them out and remove the foil. And look at just how beautiful those turned out. You can see how the toppings floated to the top and they're set completely so that you know that they're cooked all the way through. And I like to make sure that I don't overcook them. So I want them to be able to set, but not be not be like fully cooked because I am reheating them. And so I let these cool on the cabinet for a little bit, and then you just want to run a butter knife around the edge just to make sure it's nice and loose. You don't want to end up leaving a hunk of your egg bite in the mold. And just like you would a cake, put your rack on top and just flip it over. I just like to make sure that they're nice and loose. And there you have it. Perfectly steamed egg bites. Okay, so they almost all came out perfectly. This one got stuck, so we're going to give it a little taste. Oh wow. That's perfect. It's so smooth and creamy. And with that jalapeno, my mom is going to try some too. Jalapeno, chives, and spinach. I didn't add any salt to these because the cottage cheese is so salty. And I might top them with cheese when I reheat them. But let's get one more look. Oh yeah, that's good. Mama, what'd you think?
Perfect. Wouldn't change a thing.
Thank y'all so much for joining me tonight and letting me share my recipes and experiments with you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I'd love to hear any recommendations you have for what I can cook next, so let me know in the comments below. And please follow me on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with any updates, and share any pictures or comments if you try out one of my recipes. Well, I hope y'all have a super blessed night, and I'll see you soon. Bye!